Hello there, namaste. So I watched and I've been editing Jawan because I had to actually think about this movie because I like it, but at the same time, there are a few things that I absolutely can't stand. I just can't. There are things that are just, but we'll get to that. So this movie starts off as a revenge film. It's a man who's basically wakes up, can't remember his memory, and immediately I had the scene from Who Am I with Jackie Chan screaming, "Who am I?" Immediately I had that thought. So yeah, it skips 30 years into the future, and then you're dealing with a younger version of Jawan and Jawan, a younger version of Vikram. And I was thinking, or a younger version of SRK. And I was thinking that, okay, maybe he's immortal because it seemed like a spell was cast and he broke out of his coffin, the cast, because it reminded me of the if you've seen Kung Fu Hustle, when his body heals up and he basically starts fighting. It reminded me of that scene where he breaks out of the mummification. So SRK does that, and then it skips 30 years into the future, and he's holding a train hostage. And then you find out he hasn't aged a day. And one thing that aggravates me is the fact that he's a warden in a woman's prison. They try to make prison for women seem like every single woman in prison is innocent. And I'm like, no, there are things in this movie that are just ridiculous. But I liked how it was also trying to do a message how, there's insurance for a poor farmer. Well, how do they get insured when they get a tractor? Oh, it's 13% that they get the insurance, pay. But for a rich man who buys a really nice car, there's only 8% insurance charge. Well, why is that? What's the issue? There are a lot of things that are important in this movie, which I enjoyed. I really enjoyed that. There are aspects about it that are just like, okay, so they have him in the warden of a woman's prison where everyone is innocent. So it makes sense as to why he's basically Charlie and every woman in the prison is his angels. So it was like, all right, I guess they're trying to point out that corruption leads to fraudulent charges, leads to people who are innocent and basically thrown in prison. That happens everywhere. That doesn't change. Money and power lead to corruption. That's basically what it's trying to hint at. The biggest issue, because I enjoyed the messaging, I enjoyed all of that. The biggest issue is this whole thing starts on the crux that a soldier went to war and the firearms didn't work for him. Apparently the firearms salesman, and this is basically true for firearms, they basically sell firearms to all sides, no matter where they make them. They sell to both their allies and the enemies because they're just war profiteers. That's what they do. So it's one of those things that are just like, okay, sure. The dumbest thing, well, one of the two dumbest things in this movie was that the soldier, a special operative, went onto the battlefield with a firearm that had never been tested before. How dumb is that? And they tried to blame it on the weapons manufacturer. No, they assemble the weapons. The testing, sure, they are required to test them, but not every weapon gets tested. If anyone's been in part of those quality control assembly lines, you don't test them all. You test like every few, making sure, that's okay. Another 20 go past. You test another one. Oh, okay, that's okay. That's how you end up with those funky looking toys that end up on the shelves sometimes, because they passed quality control, because they only select a few. They don't select them all. And that was aggravating. It's just like, dude, how is this being put on the weapons manufacturer? No, this is the soldier's fault. This is the army's fault for not testing the weapons. You don't give operatives weapons that have not been tested in the fields. It was absolutely aggravating. It was like, how is this all? Yes, the firearms guy who developed them is corrupt. And the fact that he called himself like the number 5 arms developer in the world. And I'm like, you're selling guns, which apparently all of them are faulty because not a single soldier's gun worked. It would have made more sense if he was, supplying guns to the other side and basically tampered with the weapons. Maybe he had a deal in hand. Maybe he was selling information to him. Maybe there was something else. It would have made more sense if they were tampered before they went onto the battlefield than them going onto the battlefield with an untested weapon. That made no sense to me. It was like, how how could this be the case here? How is that how this movie's gonna be? How has that, because everything that takes place, as much as I enjoyed it, all happened because these dumb special operatives went onto a battlefield without ever testing their firearms. And yes, I blame it on the soldiers. I don't blame it on the firearms dealer, because it's their job to sell firearms to everyone. They don't care. They're there to make money. It's the soldiers who are there to save lives and protect people. The fact that they went there without checking it. I mean, I don't believe that's what it's like. I don't believe Indian soldiers go on a battlefield without ever testing their guns. That just seems like idiotic, completely idiotic. And it was aggravating to me. Like, I was watching, I was like, no. I couldn't stop myself. It was aggravating. The fact that everything happened from there is like, no, in the end, the firearms dealer is justified because it's not his, well, technically it is his job to prove that they work, but it's just called quality control. It's only a few guns that you test, not all of them. Not all of them. So, yeah, as you can see, that's like a huge red flag. In the end, I was like, okay, all women in an Indian prison are innocent. Sure. Let's go with that, or at least this particular prison. It's basically the what was it? Chateau d'If from the Count of Monte Cristo, where all the innocent people are sent to. Yeah, is that what this prison is? Only the innocent people are sent there. Because I enjoyed the movie. There was action-packed scene. SRK being both old and young. Of course, I prefer his old side. I preferred him bald, like with the bald cap on. That looked amazing, absolutely amazing. But part two, the one other thing I absolutely couldn't stand was one of the characters gets shot and they have to use the shock paddles on her. Everyone's holding this lady down. I'm pretty sure everyone knows when someone says clear, what does that mean? When someone's about to shock a patient and they say clear, what does that mean to everyone? Because to me, that means hands clear. That means don't touch the body. That means an electrical current is going to run through. And if you're touching it, it's going to go into your body. There have been cases where people don't listen or don't understand what the concept of that is. And I guess it's to movies like this where people are still touching the body as they get electrocuted. Like, there are videos. You can check them up online. There are videos where people are holding down the body and a person who's touching the body as it gets shocked, their heart stops. Why? Because the electric current finds its way through the body into the other person and shocks their heart. There's just those. Oh, yeah. As you can see, two huge issues I had with this movie. Two absolutely huge issues, which could have, well, of course, the gun one, they could have changed. They could have changed it where it was just tampering, where he was on the take from the opposing side, the place where they were going, where he was making a deal. He was making money off of it. That would have made sense. Because he's a arms dealer. They sell to all sides. They don't care. So it would have made sense that he was on the take more for one side than his own. And also, just have her remove her hands. Have her remove her hands when they're about to paddle the other lady. Paddle? Is that what it's called? That just sounds wrong now that I've said it aloud. That sounds wrong. Does paddle sound wrong? Yeah. But but those are like two things that could have been easily changed to make this movie be more enjoyable. Because as soon as I saw the first one, and that was halfway into the movie, I got mad. Because it was like, all this relies on the fact that this soldier didn't trust his firearm. He had no clue about his firearm. Now, if it worked for a few shots and then it malfunctioned on him, that would be a different story. Like, it was faulty when you changed magazines or something. That would be a completely different story. Not where it doesn't work. Oh, am I crazy? I think I might be crazy, because it's just like it's the little things. It's the little things that make this whole story fall apart. Even though I loved SRK in the role, I loved seeing him grizzled, I loved seeing him old, he's powerhouse. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing some of the action sequences. I found it a little ridiculous when the women are basically taking guys that are 2 times their size. Like, they were fighting on top of a truck. A woman is taking on 2 guys that are 2 times her size. But when SRK is fighting a guy 2 times his size, he needs another SRK to help him fight him. It was just like, come on. I know that one where SRK is fighting the giant, that was just for comedy, and I enjoyed that. I thought it was funny. But there are little things in this movie. It's an action movie. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to have a message. I enjoyed the message, but it's just you can't belittle your own army, because that made me feel that I felt insulted. I felt insulted when I saw the soldiers go out on a battlefield with an untested weapon. It made me feel like they were inferior, and that's disgusting. It's a disgusting thought to have about soldiers. It's not right. And that's the thought I had. It was like, no, this is inaccurate. This is absolutely inaccurate. And you don't want that. You don't want that, especially for someone like me. I grab on that, and it carries out through the rest of the film. It really carried out through the rest of the film, because I enjoyed it in the beginning. I was like, all right, woman empowerment, good. They don't need no man, good. Gosh, but other than that, I mean, you've got to make sure, double check. There should have been someone during the viewing who went like, no, this can't be. We have to just do 2 touch-up scenes. We have to do 2 touch-up scenes. We have to fix this huge issue, this gaping issue. We don't want people to get injured because they watch this movie and think, oh, they can hold someone they can hold someone like saying, I'm here for you, as they're getting paddled, and then they collapse. No, you have to correct people. You have to teach people about this stuff. Firearm safety. You have to show people, even if it's just a quick little tidbit. You have to allow people to understand, to know, because instinctively, we learn off this kind of stuff. Even if you didn't tell us why, it's good to show them doing it. But I gotta say, the best character in this movie, other than SRK, had to be the negotiator's daughter. She was honestly one of the best characters. She was enjoyable to watch. Her interactions with SRK, her interactions with SRK2. It was fun to watch, because SRK, the way he acted off of her, just seemed so heartwarming. It was perfect. I absolutely enjoyed that. I did find comedy in the scenes where they turned basically the negotiator into a special operative, where she turned into Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. They gave her the like, she was wearing a button-down shirt, and the very next scene, she's not wearing her shirt. She's wearing a bulletproof vest tank top. She has a massive gun. She puts on the sunglasses, trying to look all cool, and I couldn't help from smirking, because it just looked so dumb. It went over the top. It was like, come on. This was a negotiator, and now she's a special ops operative. It was like, oh my... There are subtle things in this movie that are so over the top. You know, they're trying to push the but I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. It's funny. It's funny. It's the part where they mess things up exponentially with like the handling of soldiers in combat. I mean, maybe that is how the Indian soldiers are. They're just handed a weapon and told to go out on the battlefield. I mean, that doesn't sound accurate to me. Any soldiers, let me know. Because I don't think any army anywhere in the world would be that dumb. And if it is, that needs to change. Obviously. I'm going to get so much hate for saying that, but it's just, oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This movie, it's an enjoyable movie. I'll probably watch it again. But I really had to wrap my head around it, because it was so aggravating at the end of the film for me. Because it was just like, it's still, I've tried to think things through, and it is an enjoyable movie. It is. It's just, there are so many things, there are 2 things that are so bad, like so negative, that just send the wrong message, that make everything else so aggravating for me. Absolutely aggravating. But yeah, yell at me all you want. I know you feel it. I know you feel angered. I know you feel belittled. Because I'm speaking my mind. Oh, I love the movie, but they could have just reshot those scenes. They really could have. Yeah, the best parts are SRK and Suji. Suji's the little girl. Those are the two best characters. 3 best characters: SRK, and Suji. Other than that, it's just like everyone's there. They either have a message of women empowerment. They either have, it's like, okay, but there are only 3 cool characters: SRK, and Suji. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Doodles.